Katie.
And I'm Erin.
And you're listening to Ropedrop and Parkhop.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
We're still here struggling as podcasters because we did not win the $1.6 billion.
That's right. 1.9.
Now
it was 1.6. You're right.
Nobody won the 1.6.
Right.
1.9
Biggest
tonight.
Jackpot in history.
Ever.
It's exciting.
We're going to win tonight.
Totally.
What's the first thing you're going to do? We were just talking about this before we hit record.
You say yours first.
I'm going to put all of my bills on automatic bill pay.
I love it.
No, that's my jokey one, but my real one is I'm moving to Orange County.
Yeah, apparently.
I'm moving somewhere where there are no seasons. I just want warm year round.
I don't know if I would follow you or not.
I will have a spare bedroom for you.
Yes, or I can have a vacation home there.
Oh, that's a good idea,
hang out by you fairly often.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what I'll do.
Come down once a month.
Yes.
And spend a long weekend.
Yes. I think, I don't know, boring stuff like pay off the house.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Set your kids up.
Yeah, of course.
Take care of your family.
Right.
Take care of the people you love.
Right. And then
charity.
Give tons to charity.
Yep.
Tons and tons and tons.
Yep. Go on a trip.
Yeah.
I've told my mother-in-law before when this has gotten big, I always call her and I'm like, because I don't want people knowing, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, if I call you and I ask for your credit card and I make a purchase under your name to send me to Hawaii for a month, don't ask questions. Like,
just do it.
Yes, you're gonna be my shadow.
That's funny.
I'm gonna pretend I'm you for a month while I go get things figured out.
Yeah, but I'm the same. Like, I don't really want people to know that I'm rolling in the money.
Have you ever seen the meme that says something like, if I win the lottery, I'm not telling anybody, but you'll know. And it's the it's Sleeping Beauty castle at the end of a cul-de-sac.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I've seen
me.
That one's really funny.
You'll know. My life will change and you'll know.
Right. Okay. Should we read a review?
We should.
Okay.
Oh, and really quickly, good luck to anyone else out there playing.
Right.
Wouldn't it be cool if a listener... Okay, number one, wouldn't it be cool if we won? Number two, if we can't win, let's have a listener win.
Or let's just split it all between like 10 of us. 10?
Yeah. All 10 listeners? Yeah.
So this week's review is from Polly Mall, and she says, the best Disneyland podcast out there. As a fellow out-of-state magic key holder, that's awesome. I love to hear that there are other out-of-state magic key holders.
Even though we are not those now.
But we will be again Sunday when we win the lottery.
Right. I will be an in-state magic key holder when we win the lottery.
Sounds good. I can really appreciate everything that goes into this podcast. It is very well done, has great tips for beginners and grizzled veterans alike, and keeps you up to date on current park news and changes without going into ridiculous minutia or being overly negative and critical of Disney, which many fan podcasts tend to do. I would recommend this to anyone from first-timers to seasoned visitors and especially to non-locals who enjoy the Disneyland magic. Thank you, Polly Mall.
Thank you.
That's a great review.
Much. Yes, that was very nice. We try hard not to be super negative, but we also try to be kind of real.
We keep it real. That's right. And this is your weekly reminder to leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Also, we'll let you leave a review. So thank you. That really helps us.
We appreciate it. The reviews take a couple of days to show up. And this morning we woke up to, we're actually at almost 300 ratings, which we really appreciate.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's super awesome. And we woke up to a new review and I was telling Katie, I'd always, not that I'm trying to like segregate our listeners or anything like that, but I always really love getting reviews from men because we're a female podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And
not that we're 4 females, just that both of us are female.
Right. But it always surprises me. Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. Like a female hosted podcast.
Yes.
And then I feel like a lot of times when people are planning trips to a Disney trip, it's the mom of the family or the woman of the family that are, at least in my situation.
Yeah.
And yours too.
Yeah.
And so I love it when men leave us reviews. I love it. We have like a 25% male listenership, which I really love.
Yes. So just so you know, men, we appreciate you too.
Yes.
And thanks for listening.
Yes.
Love you guys. Love all of you.
Yes.
All right. News. There's none. 0 news.
And that's our episode. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you guys next week.
No foodie guide for Christmas yet.
So
Disney World's, of course, has come out already, but Disneyland's still remains to be released.
And it is Monday morning. Okay, here's what's happening. It's Monday morning. It's 10:45 a.m. right now.
Uh-huh.
Friday is this opening day, official kickoff of the holidays at the Disneyland Resort. I am going to wager that the dining plan comes out today.
I'm going to say tomorrow.
You think tomorrow?
Yes, we'll see who wins.
And tomorrow, I keep telling Katie this, or I told Katie this too, I keep getting excited because I have nothing on my calendar tomorrow. I don't have any work appointments tomorrow, which I usually do. I don't have to record a podcast episode, which we usually record on Tuesday. And then I have to remind myself that the reason I don't have anything scheduled tomorrow is...
We are working the polls tomorrow, not to be confused with the POLESs.
Got to pay for college somehow.
That's right. We're doing our civic duty and working the election tomorrow at the same polling place, which is fun.
The same precinct.
So we'll be hanging out all day tomorrow, helping people cast their votes.
Yes, and we're super excited, but it is an all-day commitment.
It is.
And so I get excited because I'm like, I have nothing on my plate tomorrow. And then I'm like, oh my gosh,
yes,
I'm
you
gone
do.
all day tomorrow.
But at least it's like a just sit and not... You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to worry about kids tomorrow.
But our election, we have big elections happening.
It is a big
governor,
election.
senators, House of Representatives.
Right.
We have a lot of things happening, and I feel like it's going to be a very busy day.
Yeah, it's the midterms. Did you know that there is also a blood moon eclipse
I heard that.
on midterm election day?
A full blood moon eclipse.
Yes.
Which, and if you, not to get political, I'm not going to, but Idaho is a very notoriously super conservative state, a very red state. And we are going to be working in a precinct that leans a little bit more left, a little bit more blue.
Right.
And I feel like in Idaho or in any state that has one particular political leaning, when you work in a precinct that's the opposite of that, you're even busier. And so I just think we're going to be super busy tomorrow.
It's going to be fun, though.
I know. I
really enjoyed it last year.
I did, too.
All right, let's talk about dining reservations for a second. So I hopped on Instagram this week because Disney World had a little, apparently, glitch in their system that was allowing people to cancel up to 2 hours in advance of their reservations. Typically, you have to cancel a day in advance to not be charged that $10 per person fee. Right. Which it was hit or miss whether they actually charged that or not. Sometimes they would, sometimes they wouldn't.
And sometimes you can go up to them the day of. I've done this before and just been like, you know what, we have something that's come up. Can we cancel it? And they're very accommodating most of the time.
Or you could modify your reservation day of to a later day and then cancel that.
Which that's kind of a loophole trick.
Right. So don't tell too many people about that. Keep that between us.
We only have 10 listeners.
Right.
So what you're going to do, go in, you're going to open up your reservation, you're going to click on modify, and you're going to go 60 days out and pick a date farthest out that you possibly can, so your chances are good of finding a reservation. Change the date of your reservation, and then wait a day or two and cancel it at that point.
Right. Anyways, those were the ways that you could get around that day in advance. So apparently there was a glitch at Disney World that was allowing people to actually cancel on the app day of, and it's not a thing.
Real.
No.
So I was on the phone this morning. Our window has opened for our reservations at Walt Disney World for our trip in January. And we've actually had a little glitch too, which I'm not going to dive too deep in this. Anyway, we weren't able to make dining reservations for our
entire stay,
which we should be able to do. So I called dining this morning and I was on the phone with Pam. She was awesome and helpful. And we were talking about, we made some reservations and she was going over the fine print at the end and said, make sure you cancel the day before. And I said, oh, wait, I thought it was switched over to 2 hours before. And she said, oh, no. And she actually read me an email from Disney that came back saying it's a glitch. They're going to be notifying people on the app and on the website soon. And it was just allowing people to, but that's not the policy. No policy change.
Got it. Yep. So we were kind of keeping our fingers crossed that would come to Disneyland, but apparently it's not a thing anywhere, so it doesn't matter.
I just feel like, I don't know why it's not a thing. I feel like it should be because I feel like enough people would walk up to those restaurants and eat there that they don't need to have dining reservations fully booked out.
I mean, I can see maybe at the resort restaurants that being an issue of not being able to keep them full. Yeah. But at the parks, for sure not. Right. I think that there's no way that they
Which is a bigger problem in Orlando than it is in Anaheim, for sure.
Exactly.
But anyway, who knows?
Anyway, that's that update.
Sorry about the misinformation. We were excited too.
And then Anna and Elsa, I'm sure you have already heard, are meeting at... What's it called? The Animation Building?
I think it's called the Animation Academy. The classes are just classes at the Animation Academy, but that's what it says on the big thing outside.
Okay. I think, yeah. Okay. So anyway, at the Animation Building, where all of that is located, Anna and Elsa, if you've been in there, you know that there's still a marquee up for them, like a little sign, but they're actually there now.
Yes, they have like a designated room that they meet in.
No Lightning Lane currently for that.
Right.
I'm curious to see if they'll add that.
Have they ever had that?
I think they had Fast Pass for it in
Did they?
the past.
A while ago?
I believe so, yeah. Anyway, I don't know how popular they are now. I'm sure they're still pretty popular.
Oh, of course.
We'll see. Anyway, just go on your app and you can toggle between dining, attractions, characters, all of that. Characters wasn't previously showing up on the app. That's a new thing that they've just re-added. And that's how you can find where characters are meeting and when.
Yes. So, for example, I can see on here right now that Minnie Mouse is at Town Square from her next appearance is 8 a.m. to 10:30. Note that they're not going to be there for 2.5 straight hours.
No, they have to take little breaks.
Right. And so 8 a.m. to 10:30 and then 5 to 7:30 is when you'll find Mickey and Minnie at Town Square sometime during those times.
Mm-hmm.
Just know that that's kind of a guideline.
And the really cool thing about Disneyland is that there are always roaming characters as well. Those won't probably show up on the app. Like when you're walking through Fantasyland, sometimes Mary Poppins and Bert are walking around, or
they're
Mad Hatter and Alice.
Band. Right.
So those things probably won't show up on the app, but you can bet on the characters that are kind of stationary showing up in the app.
And in the app, it's showing Anna and Elsa in the animation building from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
So
I'm sure they are taking breaks.
Yes, I'm sure they're taking breaks. I'm sure. But, every other time that they've been there, there's a line. Mm-hmm. And so that just may impact how long you wait in that line.
Right. Okay. And then Magic Band Plus is in full swing now. Mm-hmm. Last week.
We ordered ours this week.
We did. We've got ours ready for our Disney World adventure.
You got the cream one.
I did. I just wanted something nice and neutral.
I like it.
Goes with every outfit.
I got the fireworks one.
Beautiful.
It has the castle on one side and it says, "To all who come to this happy place, welcome."
Love
on the
it.
other side.
And then the new maps at the parks are showing the Magic Band Plus interactions and
cool.
info in them.
That's cool.
So,
Does the app show that? Let's check really
I'm
quickly.
not sure.
That would be great.
But I thought that was pretty cool.
That is really
that
cool.
They updated the maps. Of course, and I think we've talked about this before, but those Magic Bands interact with a lot of the shows. Uh-huh. So the Bruno projections on Small World, which I'm curious if they'll keep doing those through the holidays. With the Small World lighting.
Oh, I doubt it.
Probably not. They'll probably pause for the holidays. Then the Doctor Strange show over in Avengers Campus has interactions with Magic Band. And, of course, World of Color and Fantasmic.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
And the fireworks.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So I don't see it on our map in the app, but maybe that will change.
Maybe. And then new holiday magic shots for PhotoPass if you're interested in grabbing some of those. They look fun, I guess.
Do they?
There was one, the guy holding snow. I don't know.
Have you ever seen the ones though where you I always see on Facebook and Reddit how PhotoPass photographers do people dirty, and they make you do some stupid
and then they
pose.
don't put anything in it.
And then
they forget
nothing.
The magic shot conveniently.
You've got your hand over your mouth you're completely shocked to see something in the sky and there's nothing.
I think that's hilarious.
They probably do it
Good
on
you, PhotoPass photographers.
Way to have a little bit of fun with your job.
And that's it for news. Our podcast is brought to you by Mouse World Travel. Imagine going on the most stress-free, well-planned Disney vacation of your life. Now imagine you didn't pay anything extra for that personalized service. That's what you'll get when you use an authorized travel planner from Mouse World Travel to book your next Disney vacation. From resorts to cruises and everything in between, they are here to help you get the most out of your next family trip. Just go to mouseworldtravel.com, fill out a short request form, and make sure you mention our code Ropedrop so they know that we sent you.
All right. Today we decided we've been asked about this a lot.
Right.
So we decided to do a refresher on Genie Plus and talk a little bit more, especially since there's been some changes with Genie Plus recently. We decided to kind of do a little refresher. We're a little bit more familiar with it than we were in the last episode. We've had the chance to use it a couple times.
Right. And we've done little quick updates about Genie Plus in our episodes over the months since it's been introduced. But we thought we'd do just one big Genie Plus episode to
Dedicated.
help you. Yes. So that anyone who's searching for a podcast episode about it can have it in one big soundbite.
Let's do frequently asked questions first. Is Genie Plus worth it?
I say yes.
I say yes.
It's a necessary evil is what I would call it.
Correct. So if it's something that you are trying to decide ahead of time and it's within the budget and it's something that you can add, I would say do it.
Right. And the best way to add it now is to buy it in advance with your tickets.
Yes. The caveat with that is let's say you're going for 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy it in advance, you commit to all 4 days and you pay a flat fee of $25 per person per day for purchasing it in advance. But you have to have it for every single day of your ticket.
Correct. But if you wait until the day of the park, it is variable pricing. And so you could be charged how much? It's gone up to 30. Is that the highest
We've seen it go up to 30, yes, but they have not given us a cap.
Right.
So it could be more than that.
Right.
Christmas Day. I'm curious to see like New Year's Eve, Christmas Day, those days.
Yes.
And the flip side of that is you can purchase it on a day-to-day basis. You can get to the parks. You can kind of gauge how busy it is. You can decide maybe you don't need it that day and save that money for that day.
Right. So I would say, if you're going on a random week in February, you probably don't need to buy in advance.
Right.
You could probably just show up and buy it per day, and it'll probably remain $25 per day.
Right.
No matter which day you buy it. If you're going during a busy time, spring break, during the summer, during the holidays, it might be worth it to buy in advance.
Correct. And one thing we always note in this is make sure, we always recommend that at least one person in your party does purchase it every single day of your visit. Mm-hmm. The reason for that is it includes Disney Photo Pass photos, which means ride photos, what are the ride photos that are included? Splash Mountain, Space Mountain. Off the cuff, we're having to come up with this really quickly.
I'm trying to think really hard.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Radiator Springs Racers, which is kind of a different animal, which we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Right.
Incredicoaster.
What else is nothing else at Disneyland? There's only 2.
Is that right?
That's crazy.
Space Mountain and Splash Mountain.
Yeah. I guess that's it. That seems really low.
That does seem really low. Buzz Lightyear.
Oh yeah.
But that's not.
That's already included.
Different too.
That is a free low res picture for your photo album.
We should share ours.
They're so terrible.
Anyway, and PhotoPass photographers. So if you see a PhotoPass photographer in front of the castle and you want to get your picture taken, that's included with your Genie Plus purchase. So one person in your party buying it is a good idea.
Yes.
Even if you don't feel like you're going to need it for rides.
Agreed. And then PhotoPass photographers with characters usually too.
Yes. Yep.
Now that's a thing again.
Yes.
We think it's worth it.
Yeah.
It makes the day go by a little more smoothly.
And we always, if you've listened to us for a while, we're big proponents of familiarizing yourself with the app before you go. Mm-hmm. Don't just show up at Disneyland the morning of, open your app for the first time and hope to know what you're doing.
Right.
It's something that you should play with and work through. And part of the reason that you want to play with it and work through it is so that you're not angry. And
and frustrated. And juggling kids and an app at the same time.
Right, which you're going to be doing anyway.
Yes.
But, Genie Plus is, you can have a great experience with it or you can have a terrible experience with it. Going into the day, knowing what you're doing and having a good idea of what you're doing will help you have a better experience. So that's kind of why we want to help you with that today.
Right. Just be prepared. So there are multiple ways to get to Genie Plus on the app. When you first open the app on that home screen, there's a button right there front and center that will allow you to purchase it for the day.
It says Summon Disney Genie.
Mm-hmm. Or even there's a Disney Genie Plus service purchase for today button right there as well. Or you can go to the little hamburger in the lower right-hand corner, and right there's My Genie Day.
Yep.
And that's what you'll click on.
And
that'll take you to your tip board and your day.
And you can also select the plus sign at the bottom of the screen. And the very bottom option when that menu pops up is View My Genie Day and Tip Board. So there's 3 separate ways to easily get to the tip day. What is the tip day?
The tip board?
That's what I meant. There are 3 easy ways to get to the tip board. What is the tip board?
So the tip board lists every attraction in both parks. It will default to whatever park you have a reservation for that day. So, for instance, if you're starting in Disneyland Park today, November 7th, it will pre-populate Disneyland Park, all of the attractions and shows plus dining. You can toggle back and forth between those. And then it will also give you the option to purchase Genie Plus there. So they give you multiple ways, which I feel like when this first launched, it was a little harder to find than it is now. They've made it a lot easier to get to.
I think they've listened to us.
Yes.
Because we Dear Disney'd this a while ago. As we mentioned, the price when you purchase on the day of is variable. Mm-hmm. Today's price is $25.
Right.
That is the minimum that you will pay. We've seen it go up to $30.
Just 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see this Friday. I bet it goes up a little higher.
Oh, yeah.
I bet
it's the first day of the holidays.
I bet there's an influx of people.
Yep.
And we've had people ask us before if the price fluctuates during the day, and we don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think they set it for the day at the beginning of the day, and that's it.
Yes. Some other things that you can see on this tip board. This tip board is actually, now that I'm used to it and now that I know how to navigate it and how to work through it. I really like it. There's a lot of valuable information here. So you see wait time, you see what time the next lightning lane is available for if you've purchased Genie Plus. You see height requirements. So this is a great way. In fact, often when we're in the parks and we're trying to figure out what we do, I go straight to the tip board and I just start scrolling and I start looking at the different things and start looking at the different times, the wait times, all of that. And it's a super easy way for you to kind of navigate your next step.
Right. And it will also tell you if a ride is temporarily closed or if it's under refurbishment or any of that. So you kind of know which ones are available for you to even go to. The free Genie version, which we're not going to talk a whole lot about today.
Because it's stupid.
But when you go in, so this is available for both Genie and Genie Plus, it will give you a series of questions that will let you check what you're most interested in for the day.
And then it will completely disregard them.
Yes.
And give you the most random things to do that you're totally not interested in.
Right.
Like for us, it would say, Roger Rabbit has a low weight.
Of 50
there.
minutes. Anyway, so that just know that that's there. It probably will make you go through and answer those questions regardless of, well, I don't know. I think you can skip it.
I've already done it, and so I don't know, does it keep my answers forever?
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
My last couple times there, I can just purchase Genie Plus without the
and it lets you go through.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, but I've answered the questions before. Maybe
Got
Disney,
it.
maybe my priorities have changed. Maybe all of a sudden I love Roger Rabbit.
So it's having me go through the questions again. I just went to, if you toggle to My Day up there between Tipboard and My Day.
Yeah.
There's a Start Here to Plan Your Day button, and that will take you through that little quiz.
Is this necessary?
No, but I mean, you might as well do it if you want to.
Yeah.
But you can do it ahead of time. You don't have to wait till you're in the park to answer these questions. So do it the night before, do it a week in advance, whatever you want to do. And here's where it will show who's linked to you as well.
Yes.
So if you're missing somebody from your party, and as always, if you need help, go to one of the umbrellas and a plaid will answer questions and help you out with whatever you need.
Yes. Okay, so here's some things to note. Rides that tend to book faster. We always talk about, I mean, it's part of our name, Ropedrop. Get there early so that you are able to attack the more popular rides in the early hours rather than waiting till later in the day. And then, okay, so right now it is 11:07 Boise time, which means it is 10:07 Disneyland time. And it's a random Monday in between holiday seasons in November. Is it raining today?
That's a good question. I think it was supposed to.
I think it was too. Let's look really quickly. Not that that matters anymore. It's supposed to rain today. It's supposed to start raining at 3 p.m. in Anaheim. There's a 70% chance of rain today and a 90% chance of rain tomorrow. If you're there, let us know how it goes because I actually really love rainy Disneyland days. But anyway, these are things that you would think would project a smaller crowd. People would cancel their reservations and maybe not come. So this would give you a really good idea of the things that are going to book fastest. Incredicoaster, Soarin' Around the World, Toy Story Midway Mania always goes quickly, and Guardians of the Galaxy and Web Slingers. Those are probably your top 5 in DCA.
And then over in Disneyland, you're looking at Indiana Jones, Space Mountain, Haunted Mansion, especially this time of year when it's got the holiday overlay, is going to be a little busier. I mean, maybe Millennium Falcon.
Sometimes.
It depends. You just have to keep an eye on it. Those are the ones that are going to book out the fastest.
Maybe when It's a Small World opens again this time of year with the holiday overlay. That one might be one to watch.
Maybe. I feel like that one's an immediate one when it's not holiday.
Right.
So maybe it's just pushed a little bit farther out for holiday. I don't know.
People do love the holiday overlay for it.
And then maybe Matterhorn.
Maybe
sometimes Matterhorn too.
Yes. So those are the ones that you're going to want to get there early. If you can ride them standby, maybe make one of those your very first standby of the morning. Indiana Jones or Space Mountain probably are the two that I would choose from.
Yes. And you probably already know this, but you can only ride each ride once using Lightning Lane. So if you are planning on riding a ride more than once, if there's one that you love, like Big Thunder Mountain, make sure you ride that one standby earlier in the morning for a shorter wait and then use your Lightning Lane later. Do not pull a Lightning Lane for Big Thunder Mountain first thing in the morning. Don't waste it.
The line is going to move really fast. That's a really fast moving line. And you're going to be able to ride it really quickly. Save your Lightning Lane for later.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about a couple things. One thing, and we're just looking at the app and we're going through things and we're talking about things as they come up. One thing that's of note right now is Goofy Sky School is down. So it is, like I said, 10:10 in Anaheim. And Goofy Sky School has Lightning Lane availability right now for 11:20, so in about an hour. because it's down right now, let's talk about what happens when a ride goes down and you have a lightning lane for it.
So you will get what's called a multiple experience pass that will allow you to ride a good number of rides using that lightning lane.
Not always. So,
right.
And they're tiered, which this is something that I think, talked about after my last trip. So if you have a lightning lane reservation for Space Mountain is one of those big e-ticket attractions.
Right.
It's hard to get that lightning lane, and it's a very popular in-demand lightning lane. And so if that attraction goes down during your time, which it did for me last time, and you get that multi-experience pass, it's good for any ride in the park. It was good for
even like Peter Pan.
Except for Peter Pan and Rise of the Resistance.
Okay.
Those were the only two that it did not count for.
Is there anything that would work for Peter Pan?
I don't know.
Because if Space Mountain doesn't, I wouldn't think anything does.
I wouldn't think anything does
But
either.
you can.
Maybe Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, but you can use them for other Fantasyland rides that don't have a lightning lane, which is interesting to me.
Yes, and so we used one of ours for Jungle Cruise because Jungle Cruise at Disneyland does not have a fast pass lightning lane, does not have a lightning lane. And so we just went to the exit and showed the cast member at the exit our multi-experience pass, and she put us on the boat.
Right, so it would work the same way the DAS works in that instance.
Correct.
You'd just go to the exit.
Correct.
Yeah.
We could have used it on Pirates of the Caribbean. We could have used it on Haunted Mansion Holiday. Like, we could have used it on anything because it was Space Mountain. Now, conversely, if we had a lightning lane reservation for...
Small World.
Right. It's a Small World. I didn't have this happen, so I can't tell you the exact rides, but it's not going to include the big e-ticket attractions.
Right. And you're not going to have to guess what it'll work on. They will give you a list in the app of what you can use this on.
Yes. And it's kind of exciting because, you're skipping. Alice in Wonderland was another one that I think we used. I think we had Space Mountain Breakdown twice. And so we used it for Jungle Cruise and Alice in Wonderland. And those typically don't offer them. So it's kind of nice to skip that line and get on really quickly. But for It's a Small World, it's probably not going to include, it's for sure not going to include Space Mountain or, Haunted Mansion Holiday, those bigger attractions that are more popular.
And the other cool thing is then you haven't used your lightning lane on Space Mountain, so you can pull another lightning lane for Space Mountain.
Right.
And if it's still down...
You get another multi-experience pass.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's actually where I was going with this. So Goofy Sky School is down right now. If you want to ride Goofy Sky School, which you should, should you?
Yes, I love Goofy Sky School.
It's fun. You feel like you're for sure going to die, but it's fun. But it's down right now. If you are planning on riding it anyway, now is a great time to pull this lightning lane because if it is still down in an hour, you get a multi-experience pass. And then it also resets your Goofy Sky School. So you still will be able to ride Goofy Sky School, but you can use that multi-experience pass to go ride Soarin' a second time or Guardians of the Galaxy or Web Slingers.
Right.
So there's a little bit of strategy when you're using these.
And it's not hard strategy. It's
not.
just getting used to the app and how to work it and being willing to crisscross the park.
Yeah, that's true too. And I hope this makes sense.
I think it does.
Does it? Okay.
I think so.
I'm like, are we making any sense?
But it's one of those things that you kind of just have to dig in and do it.
Yes.
You can follow along with us in the app right now while you're listening, but it's not going to let you pull lightning lanes, obviously, if you're not in the park. So until you get to do that hands-on experience, it might not make a whole lot of sense.
Right.
But here we're giving you advice and at least you'll know a little bit, have a little knowledge going in.
Yeah. So, again, back to this tip board. I'm looking at it right now, and I can see that Grizzly River Run is a 5-minute standby wait, and the lightning lane selection time is right now. So that is one that, A, I wouldn't ride. But B, if I did want to ride, I would save my lightning lane for later, and I'd go standby in the standby line.
Yes.
Because you can see both of those, and it makes more sense to me.
Right.
To just go get on the ride, right?
Absolutely. The other cool thing on the tip board is it will give you show times as well. So you can kind of build those into your day. You can view the details underneath each one of those. For instance, Doctor Strange, the next show for that is at 2:30 p.m. And then it will give you your additional show times for the rest of the day.
You know what would be super awesome is if you could somehow, dear Disney, if you're listening, if you could somehow click on the Doctor Strange and put an alert.
Add it to your itinerary.
Yeah, put an alert in your phone so that you get a little push notification.
I like
hey,
this
the Doctor
idea.
Strange show is starting in 15 minutes. Head to Avengers Campus. That'd be really cool.
And then this is also where you will pull your virtual queue for World of Color in this tip board area.
Yes.
And that will add to your day. That will add it to your My Day. So, yeah, that would be nice for other shows, right? Because it adds World of Color. I'm not sure if it gives you a notification that World of Color is coming.
I think it does.
Okay.
I think it tells you to head to a blue or whatever
Go
area.
line up, people, is what it says.
Right. Right now. Immediately.
Anyway, that virtual queue opens at 12 p.m. every day. You want to hop on it quickly if you want the first show. If you want the second show, just wait a minute, I guess.
The Pixar Pal Around is only a 30-minute wait.
Oh. You want to head down there right now?
Absolutely
Let's
not.
go.
Let's not.
And then the other thing besides shows is if you notice on the app, you can toggle to dining. They're next to attractions and shows, and that will allow you to mobile order directly from there if you'd like to. So basically, you could spend your whole day in this section of the app and not have to go anywhere else.
I didn't know that.
About dining?
No.
Oh, Erin learned something new today.
I did. I've never toggled over to dining.
So it'll show you, and it'll also allow you to make dining reservations from there. So it'll show you if anything is available for that day. For instance, Carthay Circle, no more times available today.
This is brand new information.
And if they have a waiting list for restaurants, that'll pop up there too, if there's any availability.
This is brand new information for me.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But you can order food right from there, which is nice, and it'll show you the next arrival window for all of that. So you can see if anything's, available for breakfast or whatever.
I really had no idea. This is new information. Completely new information. Isn't it Phoebe from Friends that says, this is brand new information?
It's about Ross and no.
Is it? It might be.
No, it's about Monica and Chandler, I think.
Maybe. I think you're right.
She has to act like she's surprised.
Okay, now let's talk about what happens when you make a Lightning Lane reservation and how that works. So number one, you're going to get an hour window to return. So back to our example of, let's use Goofy Sky School because that's
it's
just
there.
What we were talking about. Currently, your Goofy Sky School reservation is for 12:20 p.m., okay? That means from 12:20 to 1:20, you can show up and use your Lightning Lane.
There's about a 5-minute leeway on either side of that, too.
Correct.
I wouldn't push it too far, but
right,
they will let you in.
They will. And I have always, just to be safe, grabbed a screen cap if I feel like for some reason I'm not going to make it in that window. I think I have heard up to 15 minutes post.
Right.
But 5 minutes prior. Do not show up before 5 minutes prior. You're going to clog the line and people are going to get very angry with you. You will not be let on the ride.
Right.
You will not have availability to that Lightning Lane.
Yes. Really, what it comes down to is 5 minutes before is when it will pop up for you to be able to scan it.
Yes.
So until you can actually scan a barcode there, or is it a QR code?
It's a barcode.
A barcode. Don't get in line.
Don't get in line.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people hovering, doing the same thing you are. So,
and it makes the Lightning Lane look way longer than it is. Really, it's just a bottleneck where people are having a hard time scanning in and figuring that out.
Or they're there 6 minutes early.
I would love to see if Magic Band Plus is helping that bottleneck. I don't know if enough people are using it yet.
I was going to say that. I just don't know. I imagine I'm excited to use it at Walt Disney World and see how smoothly those lines move. And
they were already moving pretty smoothly because they've been using Magic Bands for years, so and everybody uses them there.
Yes, and I'm hopeful for the future at Disneyland because that is one of my big complaints about Lightning Lanes. And so I always use a Big Thunder Mountain as an example. There are 2 posts that have Lightning Lane scanners, and each of those posts have 2 scanners.
Right.
So theoretically, you should be able to scan 4 parties in at a time.
Yes.
Heck no.
It's hard, especially if you've got, a family of 5.
Right.
They've all got to be with you while you're scanning. And usually it's just one person scanning in. Whereas with Magic Bands, you just tap and go in.
You just walk through.
Right.
And
Each
everybody
person
can
taps.
do their own.
Right. And then you can wait on the inside for your party to catch up to you.
This is honestly the biggest perk I can see to using Magic Band Plus at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Is just making that process so much easier. So 5 minutes before you can scan in for the attraction, you have that hour window, and then we'll say 5 minutes after, but I believe officially it's 15 minutes after. If you think that you're going to be in that 15-minute window, like I said, grab a screen cap because those tend to disappear off of your app, and you're not able to use them that way. So grab that screen picture of it and show it to the cast member, and they'll probably work with you. But
And then once you've scanned in your Lightning Lane, you are no longer eligible to pull another Lightning Lane for that ride.
Correct.
So you're done for the day with Lightning Lane for that ride.
What happens if the ride goes down while you're in the line?
I feel like you would probably have to find a cast member.
Correct.
To re-add a multiple experience for you.
Yes.
Which they can do pretty easily. They have their little handheld scanners at the exit usually that they can help you with.
But if you don't find a cast member, tough nuggets.
Yeah.
Like you're out that attraction.
Or find an umbrella.
Yeah.
Like go take care of it.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I would too. Don't just sulk about it.
Which
go take care of it.
Maybe do that. Okay, so once you've scanned in for that attraction, you are able to grab another attraction. Unless it has not been 2 hours since you got something else. So this is going to apply more later in the day. So early in the day, when you grab a lightning lane, let's say you're there for rope drop at 8 a.m. and you are going to do Indiana Jones first thing, and you're going at 8:15. As soon as you scan in at 8:15, you're able to pull another one. Indiana Jones is a hard one to give as an example because as soon as you enter that temple, your signal just drops. This one's a hard one.
Until you get to the TV room, and then I feel like it comes back.
For just a minute. But you're kind of constantly moving.
Right.
So you kind of got to be smart, and you got to be clever, and you have to be
ready.
Skilled. Yes. Know what you're going to go for next and grab it really quickly.
Yes. And try not to be looking at your phone while you're walking in that super dark queue, or you will trip or run into somebody.
I think I could do it with my eyes closed now.
That bright screen, though, on your phone, it's just kind of
rough.
Enjoy the queue. Just get it done quickly.
Yes. So as soon as you scan in first thing in the morning, you're able to grab your next one. As the day progresses and as these wait times get a little bit later out and you grab a lightning lane, let's say you grab a lightning lane at noon for Haunted Mansion Holiday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You have to wait 2 hours until you can grab your next lightning lane. So at 2 p.m. you can grab another lightning lane, even though it's before you've scanned in for Haunted Mansion. So you'll be holding 2 lightning lanes at a time at that point. Correct. For me, I always just like to, I have my watch set on, my Apple Watch set on mute. And so when my alarm goes off on my watch, it just vibrates.
Yep.
I immediately tap my watch and set an alarm for
the next time. And it'll tell you on the app, it'll say you can pull another lightning lane at 11:22 or whatever your time is. So you don't have to guess. Set yourself a little alarm.
Yep.
And you'll be ready.
And you can do that then.
Yes.
So you are able to have more than one at a time. That's more applicable later in the day.
Right.
In the morning, you typically have one at a time.
And those multiple experience passes, I don't know if we said this, but they are good for all day. They don't have a time window. So you can use them at any time all day long.
Correct.
Which is really nice.
It is really nice. Because seriously, a lot of times, my big complaint with this is a lot of times I do find myself kind of weaving back and forth throughout the park. The multi-experience passes are gold.
Yes.
Because whatever ride you're right next to that you want to ride, go do it.
Yep.
Right now.
Yep.
And then the last thing that we want to talk about with Genie Plus is those 2 attractions, one at each park, that are not included with your Genie Plus purchase. They are a separate individual lightning lane purchase.
Yep. And it's called individual lightning lane if you want the correct terminology. And those are also variable pricing. And they will be a per person charge. So if, for instance, Radiator Springs Racers today is $15, and that's set for the day as well. It doesn't vary during the day.
Correct.
It varies per day, but not during the day. $15 for Radiator Springs Racers today, you will pay that per person.
Yes.
To ride that ride.
Yes. And that's going to, help you skip the standby. What is the standby right now?
Not offered. So it's closed right now. So if the ride is broken for either of these individual lightning lanes down, I don't think you get a multiple experience pass for those. You just get refunded your money, or you can choose a later time.
It actually switches over to all day.
Oh, yeah.
So
you can choose a later time to come back.
Right. You can choose your time. So we had this happen when we were there in August with Rise of the Resistance.
Right.
And it was down during our window. So it switched over to use it any time today.
Right.
Katie had a flight to catch,
and
so did I.
Right, and I think we did mention this on our podcast, but we were able to just get the money refunded.
We had to go
very
to Umbrella.
easily, though. It was very easy, and she was super nice.
She was super nice, but you do need to go speak to somebody at Umbrella. If, it goes down and the new time is just not going to work for you, they will give you your money back.
And unlike, I know I've had a lot of people ask at Disney World, these individual lightning lanes go so quick because you can book them before you enter the park.
Right.
At Disneyland, you have to be scanned into the park, and they don't tend to go very quickly.
And this applies to Genie Plus as well, because at Walt Disney World, you can do it at 7 a.m. You can purchase it for the day and start making your reservations.
Right.
But you have to be in the park. And so I think there's a lot of confusion for people who are flying in the morning of, and they're not going to get to the park until 8:30. They're trying to get online and make reservations at 8 o'clock, and they can't. Once you're scanned into the park, then you have availability to start doing it.
And so Radiator Springs Racers, for instance, is only pushed out to 11:15 right now, which is like 45 minutes away from now. So, I mean, I think you're good there. Let me look at Rise of the Resistance.
Rise of the Resistance today is $25, which that is what...
That's pretty standard. It's never been below that.
Well, until they raise the prices. It was $20 until they raised the prices. And then...
But it remains pretty steady at whatever price.
Yes.
It's currently.
70-minute wait right now.
Okay.
And your lightning lane is pushed out right now until...
11:15.
So same as Radiator Springs.
Yeah. So
$25 per person. This is going to get you one ride.
Right. And I would just keep an eye on those too. If you're wanting to ride them and that time doesn't work for you, if you'd rather do one later, just keep an eye on it. They will sell out by the end of the day, usually.
Right.
So keep an eye on them.
You can do both in one day. Back in the day when Web Slingers was also listed as an individual lightning lane, you had to choose two that you could do for the day, but you can now do both of these. So theoretically, you could ride every lightning lane ride in one day if you want to pay for it.
You'd have to have park hoppers, of course.
Of course.
And then Radiator Springs is one of those rides that offers a photo. However, just buying the individual lightning lane does not get you that photo. You have to have also purchased Genie Plus or Photo Pass, which Photo Pass is 19 something. That one didn't rise.
Did it not?
Is that like the only thing in the whole world that didn't rise in price?
Which that's kind of ridiculous. If you pay the individual lightning lane price for that, you should get the picture, don't you think? I think you should.
I do too, but I asked specifically on the app. I asked a cast member, and they said no. You have to either purchase Genie Plus or
the Photo
Pass to get that photo. So keep that in mind if you want that ride photo.
That's silly.
Or can you buy them individually?
Yeah, but they're like $15.
Right, and where do you go for that?
In the app. So you'd want to make sure that you get your code as you exit the ride. You'll see the screens that have your pictures. You'll want to make sure you get the code. You can add it to your app, but it will have the Photo Pass imprint on it until you pay the price. And actually, I've had luck in the past, and I don't know if this is still a thing, but later you can purchase the Photo Pass for the day. So if you end up always utilize Photo Pass photographers, even if you don't have Genie Plus for the day, or if you don't have your Photo Pass subscription for the day, still utilize them. You'll still get the pictures. You can still see them. You just have the watermark. And then you can purchase the day pass after the fact and download all of your photos from that day.
Right. So if you aren't sure whether you're going to want them or not, you can always wait till the end to buy it. You get a little preview of your photos first. I don't see anywhere on the app where you can buy Photo Pass. I wonder, do you have to be in the park
maybe
to buy it?
I don't know.
If anybody knows, let me know.
Right.
Really quickly, let's talk about Wi-Fi versus using your cell signal in the parks. For me, it always works better to just use my cell and not connect to the Wi-Fi. However, if you're, from out of the country and your cell plan is not awesome, definitely connect to the Wi-Fi. It's just not as good a signal.
I will say, though, I use the Wi-Fi when I'm like on Soarin'. Because once I'm in and
you're not getting any cell signal.
Right. I'm not getting a cell signal, but I can get a slight Wi-Fi signal.
Got it.
So if you lose your cell signal on an attraction like that or Indiana Jones, try the Wi-Fi, see if it works better for you. Another way, and this is I think this is really handy. The tip board is great, but let's say that you are in line and you're not, maybe this is your first trip ever, you're not super familiar with the layout of the parks, and you're in line for Space Mountain. If you go to the map icon on the bottom of your screen, and there's usually the little, what is that thing? The little compass thing that you can click that will show you exactly where you are in the park. You can see the attractions that are nearby you. You can see the wait time for those attractions on the map. And if you click on that wait time, so let's pretend I'm at Space Mountain and I click on Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters, it pulls it up. It tells me the standby wait time. There is also a place there where I can click Lightning Lane and I can make a Lightning Lane reservation from there. So sometimes geographically it's easier to do it that way, especially if you're not super familiar with the layout of the park. That's a great way to look into Lightning Lane. It will take you to the tip board, but it will take you exactly where you want to be on the tip board.
Exactly.
So that's just another little tip for finding Lightning Lane access.
And I think that's pretty much it for Genie Plus.
I think so, too.
I know it sounds a little complicated. Like I said, if you haven't used it before, it sounds overwhelming. But once you get in there and get your hands dirty.
Ask Katie.
And I mean it that way.
The first time I went, I remember we were standing outside Soarin'. Do you remember me just standing there saying, I hate this.
Yes.
This is stupid.
She hated it. And I had already used it once before, so I was doing okay.
And I was just standing there looking at my screen, and I'm like, where do I go? This is stupid. What do I do? It's definitely a learning curve.
Yes.
But
you can practice ahead of time. Like we are doing all of this right now without being in the parks.
Right.
So get in there and practice.
Or maybe we are in the parks.
Ooh.
Maybe we're secretly in the parks.
That's how we know it's raining.
Definitely try playing around with it just a little bit. And as you use it more, it gets easier. I also think that maybe they've made some slight changes.
Oh, for sure. Like we talked about already.
Because I don't remember, it's not intuitive to me. And it feels a little bit more intuitive now than it did in the beginning. Yeah. It felt clunkier.
For sure.
So
it could be a combination of both. I'm sure it is.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, guys. I hope you're getting to go soon.
Me
Use our
too.
tips. If you're going at holiday time, let us know.
Let
we'll
us
be
know.
super jealous.
If you have any questions about Genie Plus, feel free to reach out to us
for
on
sure.
Instagram at Ropedrop.Parkhop. We're always happy to answer questions if we know, and if not, we try to find the answers and help you.
Yep. And email us if you need to, ropedrop.parkhop@gmail.com.
Yes.
And make sure you share us with your friends.
Yes.
Like and subscribe.
All the things. Yes.
My YouTube. By the way, we are on YouTube.
Yes.
So we publish our episodes to YouTube. We are trying to figure out the closed captioning thing.
It works.
Oh, it does have okay, perfect.
I've gone on and played with it.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. So if you I don't know why you would need to follow us on YouTube or listen to us on YouTube, but in case you do, with some closed captioning, if you're a visual person instead, go do that. It's
The screen is super boring.
Yeah, it's at ropedrop.parkhop. Maybe someday we'll get brave and record some episodes via video, but don't
see
count
that
on
happening.
it.
I'm not clairvoyant, but I don't see that happening. Maybe
For Patreon someday. We'll see. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great week.
Good luck with the Powerball.
That's right. Fingers crossed for everyone.
And if you do win and you've gotten any good information out of this podcast, just don't forget about us.
Throw us a bone. Bye, guys.
Bye.